This video is for my father. Because every single time I see him, he asks me what my job is and how I make money, and I'm sick of explaining it to him. So this is breaking the whole thing down. This is also for the people in the... Sorry, I didn't introduce myself. My name's Nick from Stridewise.com. We look at boots and casual menswear here. And this video is also for the people I meet in those industries, the boots and menswear industries. Like when I travel to visit workshops, or when I meet brands at events here in New York City, or when I meet viewers of the channel sometimes, they usually ask me what my day job is outside of YouTube. So basically everyone I meet either assumes that I make a living from YouTube or that I have an unrelated day job. And neither is true, they're both wrong. And when I tell them that Stridewise actually has multiple full-time employees, no one understands how it's possible. So I'm gonna try to break this whole thing down in this video, and I'll end the video with a few reasons why I'm not worried about anyone copying the very, very, very specific business model that I will have laid out here, and I maybe shouldn't have, but I think it's gonna be all right. This whole video is really just about the work I do on a laptop, so I don't really have interesting footage, like B-roll to play throughout this video, but I'll just play random clips anyway. And that footage is gonna count as things this job has allowed me to do. So it works. All right, what YouTube pays me. The answer to how I make money with a YouTube channel is I don't. Not on YouTube. I do not make money with YouTube, but it's an important part of the ways that I make money. And let me explain that. I don't literally make no money on YouTube, but if you're wondering how much money a guy with 130,000-ish subscribers and 7 years of mostly evergreen niche content makes, the answer is not very much. Last month, I made $2,500, which is, I mean, it's more than the minimum wage, but it's less than half the average salary in the United States. But like producing these videos costs money. The videographer costs like $500 a day. Hi, Jack. And getting each video edited costs like $300, $350, and I still have to spend many, many hours managing that editing process for each video. So at the end of the day, ultimately, I'm not making money on the video. If I'm lucky, the YouTube will pay for the video's production. Now, I can't complain too much because I could make more money on YouTube because I actually only put ads at the start of my videos. I guess I could always change that, but I don't have any videos with ad breaks in the middle just because I find them really annoying as a viewer. And I'd rather lose that money than increase the odds of someone clicking away, given YouTube isn't the main source of revenue for me. If YouTube was my only source of revenue, I'd be cramming in ads everywhere I possibly could, but I hardly ever even do sponsored videos, you know? And I decided a while ago that since what YouTube pays me is sort of negligible, I might as well try to optimize a bit more for the viewer experience than to squeeze as much money out of YouTube as I can. So where does my money come from? First of all, that's a pretty invasive question, all right? It's a bit gauche, but since it's just you and me here, so I'll tell you. I've been telling you for years at the start of every video how I make money. What's up, guys? This is Nick at Stridewise.com from Stridewise.com. Unlike most YouTubers, I have a website. And that's where I make just about all my money. So first I'll tell you how I learned to make money on the internet, like why I know how to have a living from internet things. So a bit about me, for a bit of context. I spent many years as a reporter, journalist, media person here in New York City and elsewhere around the world. I had some stints in China and Kenya, a couple other places, but I've been working in New York City's online media industry for like over 10 years. Before Stridewise, I was mostly in the fitness space, men's health, men's fitness. I've got articles in these places. Most of that time in New York's media space was as a writer, reporter, the job that everyone said would never make me any money. But I managed to figure out how to make some money with the ability of speaking and writing English.
No one understands that you're saying shoot because you have an Australian accent. It just sounds like you're saying shirt.
Yeah, it's true. I spent a couple of years at a $1 zillion web company that had 2 floors of offices in Times Square. I had to go to Times Square every day of my life for several years. And that was like where I realized there's actual money on the internet. It was a pretty fancy company. And after that, I spent a few years at a startup where I was the second employee ever. And I was there for 4 years. And that helped me learn how to build a digital media business from the ground up that can actually pay my rent. And I used that knowledge to build Stridewise on the side and eventually quit that job and do this full time. It was not fun when I was doing both at the same time, but I got over that hump. So while my shtick, this channel, is not very professional, and I don't try to make it look very, very, very professional, Stridewise has never been a guy filming videos in his basement with no strategy. You know, like I vehemently hate having a job, and I spent years painstakingly building this thing so that I wouldn't have to have a job. Could not do it. But you want to know how my website makes me money. All right, so the core of this whole machine is the most boring but most reliable way to make money on the internet with content, or at least it was when I started this business. That is SEO. Search engine optimization. That means publishing articles that appear at the top of Google searches. YouTube is the second most visited website on the internet with nearly 3 billion monthly active users. The number one most visited website on the internet is google.com. And when I started Stridewise.com, I asked for some advice from a friend and he said, look, all you gotta do is publish 2 articles a week, one a review and one that's like an educational look at whatever types of leather or whatever people are Googling in the boot niche. And then as time went on and tech changed and the algorithm changed, the fact that Google owns YouTube became more relevant to my work. Like both websites, Google and YouTube, like it when you're on the other one. It gives a richer content experience to the user. A website having a YouTube channel is proof that the website is not just being churned out by some content farm in Cyprus or China or something. And also if someone watches a video on your website, then that increases the amount of time they spend on your website, which is a very big signal to Google that the website is good and useful, and then they rank you better for it. So anyway, while this was just meant to be a website, I had to start a YouTube channel. And then one thing led to another, and I'm like modeling bags in the streets of Indonesia or something. It's been a weird ride. I'm mostly explaining why the YouTube channel happened because a lot of people will say, oh, you're a YouTuber, that makes sense. You're a narcissist. And it's like, no, this was never meant to be part of the plan, the YouTube channel. I was really just meant to write a couple articles a week and then sit back and let the passive income roll in. But life is never as simple as your plans are. Now I gotta have a YouTube channel. But I don't hate it. I really like it a lot. It just wasn't intended. But yeah, the YouTube helps the website rank. My crowning achievement is being #1 on Google when you Google best boots and a bunch of similar terms. The rankings change all the time. It is a constant job tweaking things here and there to optimize that. Moving on. I've told you that I make money from a website you never heard of and that it gets traffic from Google for things that people search. I haven't said how that website traffic turns into money in my pocket. So here it is. There's a few reasons. Number one is ads. Big shocker. There are ads on my website. The way that I explain it to my dad is that it's exactly like a newspaper or a magazine. You know, you buy it to read the articles, but around the articles, you get the ads that pay for the production of the articles. The biggest difference with ads on my website relative to newspapers is that the advertising platform has an idea of the kinds of websites you've been visiting. And so the ads are more likely to be for stuff you are actually interested in than the ads you get on TV, for instance, which are all just for like heart disease medication, right? So I unironically, I like internet ads in that they're less of a complete waste of time for the reader and for myself. If someone clicks on those ads on my website, I make a little money because the company in the ad pays the ad network, which is called Mediavine, and then Mediavine gives me some of that money. So that's one way the website makes me some money. So I told you how people get to my website, where the readers come from, and that's one way that ultimately makes me a little bit of money. Number 2, affiliate marketing. My dad spent many years as a door-to-door salesman, and I tell him that affiliate marketing is basically the same thing. As a door-to-door salesman, if you convince someone to buy something, you get a commission. So with affiliate marketing, there's like a little bit of code in some of the links on my website that lets the store that I'm sending people to, it lets them know where the customer has come from. So they'll say, oh, Stridewise sent this guy to our website and then he made a sale, so we'll give him like 5-10% of commission from that. As far as the actual amounts of sales that I generate, you know, half the time people won't click the right link or they'll just see me say something on YouTube and then like search it later. Like the vast majority of the sales that I help companies make, I don't get paid for. But if the right link gets clicked, I'll get like a little commission at no extra cost to the user, by the way. Now, a lot of the time I talk about and recommend brands that don't do affiliate marketing. One example is Naked and Famous. That's a denim brand that I've made many, many videos on, and I've even visited their headquarters in Montreal when I was in town visiting a friend. They've never paid me a cent, but I still talk about them because I would just feel like a hack if I had a channel like this that covers that kind of denim so much, and I never talked about Naked and Famous. Like that would be very fake. The same thing on the boot side happens too. Like unsurprisingly, there are a lot of pretty analog, not very online brands in the space of old-fashioned boots. And a lot of these brands don't really do internet marketing, but they still deserve to be talked about. A good example is Randcourt up in Maine. I visited them and I talk about them all the time, and they've never paid me any money. But I wanted to talk about this very unusual hand-sewn moccasin construction that they have, which they do. So it was relevant to this space. So I went, and I even put them on my best winter boots list, and I didn't make any money. And like when I visited Indonesian boot brands, this is an Indonesian boot here. Most of those guys down there don't even have websites, let alone affiliate links, you know? So like I made no money on that trip that I made down there, but it was really cool. And I was in the area anyway, I was traveling. I know people who only work with brands that do affiliate marketing, and it's like, there's just these huge gaps in their coverage that's like really conspicuous and just makes them a crappy source of information, right? I have a bit more flexibility to do like some money wasting content. Stridewise.com is littered with bad business decisions, like putting putting an Indonesian brand on the best Chelsea boots article, but people think they're very good. Thought I'd put them in. And I like being able to help increase the business of brands like that, where that makes a big difference for them. So ads, affiliate links. The third way that my website makes money is pixels. This one's a bit less well known, but if you remember what I said about the ads on the website reflecting the other websites you've been to, visiting a website may affect the ads that you get after going to my website on like Facebook and Instagram and maybe somewhere else. If you wind up on certain parts of my website, there is a very high chance that you are a male who actively wants to buy some boots. They call that user intent in the online world. It's very valuable in e-commerce, and it means visitor to one of Stridewise.com's boot guides is a very useful demographic for some companies to target with their online ads, especially that intent to buy part. Like when a brand can target Stridewise visitor to this particular article on their site, that's paying to be able to target that person can be more useful than paying to target college-educated male aged 18 to 49 who likes menswear, which is already something they can target through Google and Meta and that kind of stuff without me. But I'm like, hey, I can help you target even more specific people, and that's worth some money to some brands. The fourth way the website makes money is sponsored content. This is whatever, you see it all the time online. This video is brought to you by my sponsor, blah, 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 blah. On this channel, it's usually the menswear site huckberry.com or the wrist, I'm wearing them now, the wristwatch brand Veya. They'll give me some money to do one of those little ad breaks, and usually I'll make the article on the site sponsored as well, even though I'm pretty sure the brands never check the site or know it exists, like most people. But the links get clicks there as well. And the fifth way the website makes money, I have a newsletter that I should really talk about more on YouTube. The website gets hundreds of thousands of views a month. I wrote an article called 11 Ways to Save Money on Boots. And if you come to my website, you'll be told, sometimes you'll get like a pop-up or something, hey, get this free article if you sign up for the newsletter. And so sometimes people give me some money to appear in the newsletter, and also there'll be affiliate links in the newsletter. I have 25,000 emails on my newsletter list, which is very low for the number of years that I've been doing this for, because I just don't spend enough time on it and I hardly ever send it out. But yeah, sometimes brands will give me money to explicitly sponsor a newsletter. Like I did a few giveaways this year with headals.com. That's an example. So those are the 5 ways I make money from the website. But there are a few other ways I make money that aren't exactly or aren't directly from the website or from the YouTube channel. So one is through collaboration. Sometimes I'll design a boot and a brand will make the boot, and then I'll do what I can to sell the boot. And when it's a collaboration, like Stridewise and Caswell was my most recent one, the commission is a bit higher on those sales than if it was just a regular Caswell boot with affiliate links. And also I would get commissions on every boot sold, not just the ones that someone had clicked the link to. Another way to make money is that Stridewise will sometimes do consulting. Like between me and my website manager, Carl, we're pretty good at making a website rank well on Google and helping people make money on the internet. And sometimes we'll help other e-commerce brands do that. Like I said, most of the brands in the boots and leather and raw denim space are very analog, or they don't want that extra business because they're small workshops and they can't meet demand. That actually happens a lot. People like say, I don't want to market, I want to turn people away from my business. But yeah, sometimes we'll get a consulting gig helping a company optimize their website. And lastly, the most recent way that I've added another revenue stream to this whole machine is I started a leather goods brand, badleathergoods.com. It's the world's only company that makes products from the tough hides of invasive wild boar. It's a terrible animal. It hurts American farmers and causes billions of dollars of agricultural damage every year. And because I had years of experience reviewing leather goods and learning what makes a good bag and a good belt, a good wallets, that kind of stuff, I thought I'd launch that after I did a boar leather boot collab with Caswell, and I just fell in love with the whole idea of making good things from bad animals. I'm really, really proud of it, and that link is in the description below. And I guess that's the main reason I'm making this video, so I can talk about that, maybe? I don't know. I guess that was 8 ways that YouTube makes me money without YouTube really making me any money, actually. If 8 ways sounds like I'm incredibly wealthy, I don't think any one of those would make me enough money to live on, but I've learned that part of making your own money is you can create multiple not that impressive streams of revenue and have them all go into the same bank account, and with all of them together, you might have some money. And that's how I pay my full-time website manager and my full-time video editor, and there's an article editor as well. I'm also working on a new business in the denim space. That one's not ready yet, but I think I have another revenue stream on its way. You know what, the website's up. Go to wisegoods.com and you should be able to put your email in there, and then you'll know what it's about when we're ready to make that all public. But anyway, there are more details about this machine that I don't have time to get into. But the cool thing about my business model is that I need to regularly publish YouTube videos, But it's not a big deal if they don't get a lot of views. Like my Best Loafers video didn't get a lot of views, but that video made the article Best Loafers get to the top of Google, and that's the point. And that's where I make money, not on the number of views on a YouTube video. And if that sounds kind of uncreative and soulless, the truth is that it makes this whole exercise more creative and lower pressure than it is for most YouTubers. Like the ultimate purpose of most of my videos is just to send signals to Google that I'm a publisher of content about boots and jeans and casual menswear in order to keep the website healthy. So I don't need to worry about if my YouTube videos go viral or if it's optimized for retention by algorithmically spacing out beats and chapters and reveals and anything like that. There's less riding on the views of my videos, and virality doesn't matter so much. It's nice when it happens, definitely, but it's not that important. So my particular business model, which is very, very unusual, it means I can kind of relax in my videos and just be myself and not stress too much about them. So it's fun. And if you're wondering why I'm giving away all my money-making secrets and making myself vulnerable for competitors to steal my traffic and my business with their own website, I can give you some reasons why. Number one, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. You have to publish articles for like 2 or 3 years before anything ranks on Google, and most people just give up before doing that. Especially the kinds of people who would steal other people's business ideas as opposed to starting something that they're actually passionate about. Another reason, I have an 8-year head start on any competitors who want to swoop in, and that is sort of an insurmountable lead in this particular industry, which again, most YouTubers, if not all of them, are not in. Number 3, everything I've said here was very simplified. This whole thing is way more complicated than it sounds. Newcomers to making websites and blogging and stuff, they really need to find and pay for people to help them who know a lot about WordPress and WPX and cloud hosting, Cloudflare, Google Analytics, HTML, lazy loading, all this kind of stuff. Not to mention people who can help you make videos. Like I was only able to make Stridewise work because I had a good 10 years experience in digital media and I'd made enough friends who had good advice to give. You know, like to make a competitive digital media business, it's really not a business for just one guy with a passion. Not anymore, anyway. Once it was. But yeah, awfully hard to replicate if you haven't kind of done what I've done, like been in online publishing for a long time. 4th reason, even if you have enough money to burn on hiring web consultants and stuff, this is not an unskilled job. Like not just anyone can do it. I used to think it was, but like you don't just need to know people. You also need to be good at writing and communicating and being on camera, which are all skills that I took years to realize were actual skills. I thought they were just on the same level of difficulty as speaking English and being literate, but they're not. Even if you're comfortable on camera, you still need a lot of experience before you start, which I had at my old media jobs before this. So that was a leg up, a head start that I had. And the last reason I'm okay with giving out this information is that you should not do this. It would be a terrible idea to start a website in 2026, even if it didn't compete with me. Like there was a time years ago when I would help friends start their own online passion projects like Stridewise for other stuff, even though they would always give up before ranking because again, you've got to do it for many years. But this was a pretty cool, reliable, if slow to build business idea in like the 2010s. But with the rise of AI and also the amount of resources that giant businesses are putting into defeating small business hobbyist blogs in the rankings, but especially with the rise of AI, I definitely would not bet on websites being a thing in a few years. Like I 1,000,000% would not start a website today. Since I've already put in 8 years, I'm gonna keep gunning the website until the business model collapses.
Yes, we need like a big explosion here, B-roll, absolutely.
But a smart person would not start a business in an industry with as much uncertainty as online media has right now. And that's why I started badleathergoods.com and also why I started this denim thing as well on the side that's coming out soon, just because like I gotta get more resilient to big upheavals in tech because they're happening more and more often. Like I don't know what's gonna happen to blogs, but I'm gonna keep going and keep looking for ways to make this multi-pronged business more resilient to market forces. And as someone who has no business training, that's sort of the main lesson that I've learned about business, which is to be flexible with your business model, be comfortable adjusting your plan based on where the money is, and keep saying yes to as many opportunities as you can. Because even if a project is not a big money maker, I found that the more things you do, the more things happen. You just have to be comfortable with not having as much control as you'd like. But you have more control over your life than you usually do with a full-time job. You just need to be okay with not having as much control as you might like, which is probably a good approach to life in general, and a fine place to end this video. Goodbye. Please like and subscribe with the knowledge that it's not really making me any money. Maybe they'll make you feel more comfortable and less exploited as a viewer of this channel, because this is, I think it's like a singular channel. No one else, I think, on YouTube is doing things exactly like I am. So you are in a special place, and I hope you stick around, and I will see you for the next video, I hope. I'll see you later.